You're making $60 million, and when your team needs you most, you refuse to even look at the basket. The sharp critique came directly from Dwyane Wade and landed with the force of a missile aimed at Jimmy Butler. This wasn't just another lukewarm sports opinion tossed into the endless mix of debates. It was precise, piercing, and made public by a respected Miami Heat legend, someone who had once battled alongside Butler. For Wade to speak out so candidly meant something deeper was wrong. Within NBA circles, this wasn't dismissed as a casual take. Wade's words had weight, and everyone behind the scenes took notice. The focus of his disappointment was Jimmy Butler. The context? The Golden State Warriors, a franchise built on dominance and winning culture, had just ended their season on a sour note. Emotionally and physically, they were outplayed by a ferocious Minnesota Timberwolves team. The series lasted just 5 games. There were glimpses of talent, but no real leadership emerged. What was left behind was a disoriented roster and a star whose image as a clutch playoff performer was starting to fade. To fully understand why Wade's comments resonated so powerfully, we have to rewind. Butler had already been the subject of scrutiny in Miami. According to Wade, his departure wasn't about injury. It was about behavior, mindset, and commitment. Now, Wade saw the same patterns appearing again, this time in a Warriors jersey. That's when he decided to speak up, and he didn't hold back. During the Time Out with Dwyane Wade show, aired last Monday, the former guard made his thoughts crystal clear. Butler, in his view, let the team down, again. "I didn't like the way he approached the game," Wade said. "It was like he was just coasting." Wade acknowledged Butler's tendency to get his teammates involved. "That's fine," Wade said, "but at a certain point, earning $60 million means you need to step up when the offense stalls. You need to take over. If you followed this story, you already know this is where things get real. So tell me, do you agree with Wade? Did Butler truly let the Warriors down as a leader?" Butler's playoff numbers were solid: 19.2 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 5.2 assists per game. But that wasn't the issue. Wade wasn't pointing to the stats. He was talking about the moments when Butler seemed to vanish, the quiet stretches when he didn't assert himself. And Wade wasn't alone in this critique. He wasn't just reacting to one bad night. He described a repeated pattern. Wade recalled similar behavior during the 2023 finals against Denver. Hesitant, passive, lacking that aggressive fire. But contrast that with the 2020 bubble, when Butler had been ferocious, relentless, and fearless. A pit bull, as Wade put it. In San Francisco, however, Butler wouldn't even look at the rim. That's what stung most. Wade emphasized, "I don't want to see Jimmy go scoreless in a playoff game. He's too talented for that." He continued, "When it's time to take over, take over. Even if you miss, just shoot. Go down swinging." The silence in the Warriors' locker room after the loss to Minnesota said it all. Stephen Curry was still out with an injury and couldn't play in Game 6. That left Butler in the spotlight, with the perfect chance to lead and show he was worth the investment. But instead of stepping up, Butler faded. And so Wade said publicly what others in Golden State seemed too afraid to say. He called it out like someone who's been in the fire. "If you're not shooting when your team needs you, that's bad offense," Wade said. Butler's passing and playmaking weren't the problem. The problem came when the team had done all it could, and it was time for their star to carry the weight, and he didn't. That's why Wade's words hit so hard. They came from someone who knew Butler, who had seen him excel, who understood what he was capable of. And that made the criticism feel even more personal. Wade had seen Butler at his peak, and now he was seeing someone who appeared to have lost that edge. Warriors fans had expected Butler to be the veteran leader, the gritty presence the team needed while Curry recovered. But what they got was a quiet, hesitant version of him. Wade's statement echoed what many were already thinking but hadn't said aloud. Now, with 2 years left on his contract, the future is uncertain. What comes next for Butler? No one knows. But one thing is clear. Wade's words weren't random. They had intent, purpose, and pointed directly at a problem. But while the Warriors wrestle with another early playoff exit and lingering questions, trouble is also brewing quietly in the East. At first glance, the Boston Celtics seem stable. But under the surface, the cracks are forming. Behind spreadsheets and salary caps, tough decisions await. The whispers at TD Garden are growing louder. Someone has to go. With Jason Tatum out indefinitely after tearing his Achilles and the second-tier luxury tax looming, Boston faces a harsh reality: how to stay competitive without financial collapse or losing its identity. The spotlight falls on 3 names: Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Derek White. Holiday, a proven champion from Milwaukee's 2021 title run and a key player in Boston's 2024 championship, is 34 and earning $32.4 million for the 2025 to 2026 season. Brad Stevens now must weigh age against output. Past 30, the room for error shrinks, and every dollar must show results. Porzingis, towering at 7 feet 3 inches, played a vital role this season, contributing both offensively and defensively. But his fragility, chronic injuries, and inconsistency makes his $30.7 million expiring deal both a risk and a trade chip. Some teams might see him as a chance to boost their front court and clear cap space by season's end. According to insider Mark Stein, Porzingis may be Boston's most tradable veteran. Yet, the name drawing the most buzz is Derek White, the same White who became a Celtics fan favorite. An elite defender, a smart decision-maker, a consistent shooter, and at just 30 years old, he's still in his prime. His contract? A steal. 4 years with a player option, and only $28.1 million guaranteed for 2025. That affordability caught the attention of a familiar team, the Golden State Warriors. On Zach Lowe's podcast, journalist Logan Murdoch revealed that the Warriors are closely watching White. He's the kind of guard they need: defensive-minded, composed, and experienced. Someone who can guide younger players like Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski, and Moses Moody. Someone who could also share the court with Curry when needed. Letting go of White would be a huge blow for Boston, not just tactically, but emotionally. He's the team's backbone on the perimeter, their defensive anchor. As Zach Lowe put it, imagining White in another jersey is depressing. Yet Boston must ask, how far are they willing to reset? Who remains when Tatum returns? Who holds trade value today? And where does White fit into it all? Brad Stevens, the architect behind Boston's 2024 title, now faces a cruel paradox. To extend the Celtics' championship window, he might have to trade away one of his strongest pillars. Still, reports suggest that the Celtics would prefer moving Holiday over White. Holiday's age, contract size, and style make him easier to deal without wrecking Boston's core. Porzingis, despite health risks, is also considered a possible trade option. But everyone knows White is the Celtics' most valuable piece. As the offseason approaches, the phone calls will multiply. Now imagine a trade. Derek White joins the Warriors. A new chapter begins with Kuminga. A fresh system, a new challenge, and Boston must push forward without its most trusted defender. Is that the cost of the 2024 championship? The NBA landscape is shifting. The super team era, with inflated payrolls, is unraveling. And for Boston, the bill has arrived. So here's the question. If you were Brad Stevens, who would you keep? White, Holiday, or Porzingis? And would you be okay seeing white in a Warriors jersey? Drop your thoughts. The debate is just getting started. Now, imagine history repeating itself, only this time on a grander scale. Nearly a decade after Kevin Durant stunned the league by joining the Warriors, rumors are swirling again. This time, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, and whispers suggest he may be considering teaming up with Stephen Curry. This isn't wild gossip. According to ESPN's Brian Windhorst, this is a serious plan, one that's already stirring the balance of power across the NBA. Golden State is preparing a massive trade package, and they may be the only Western team capable of making such an offer. Jonathan Kuminga leads the deal. At just 22, he's grown as an offensive threat and a defensive presence. Milwaukee would see him as a foundational piece. Then comes Podziemski, a high IQ point guard who fits the Bucks culture. Next, Moody, a 6'6" wing with strong 3 and D skills. And finally, Trace Jackson-Davis, a gritty center who finished strong this season. Add in multiple picks, 2026 to 2028, swaps in 2027 and 2029, and an unprotected 2031 pick. It's a complete package. And here's the kicker. None of this requires trading Curry, Draymond, or Butler. Behind the scenes, movement has already begun. Giannis's injuries, the Bucks' early playoff exits, and the aging roster have raised doubts. He wants to win, and time is running out. Fueling the rumors even more, Giannis was spotted at a party hosted by Curry during All-Star Weekend. He was the only non-Warrior there. Coincidence? Maybe. But Giannis and Curry share the same agency, and close sources say the Greek star is intrigued by Golden State. If he makes it public and says, "I want to join the Warriors," pressure on Milwaukee will skyrocket. If that happens, Curry and Giannis could form one of the most unstoppable duos in history. Brains and brawn, vision and power. Warriors fans could witness the rise of a new dynasty, or one final push before Steph's career winds down. For the Bucks, losing Giannis would hurt. But this trade offers a full rebuild. Kuminga, Podziemski, Moody, Jackson-Davis, and all those picks. The future would still be bright. That is, unless Giannis prefers New York. The Knicks are playoff ready and have assets. The Nets also hold Milwaukee's 2025 pick, making them another player in this game. The race will be tight, but the Warriors are betting on one key factor: the player's voice. If Giannis wants Golden State, everything changes. So now I ask you, if you were Golden State's GM, would you give up all that talent and draft capital for Giannis? Or is that too steep? Even for a two-time MVP, comment below and stay tuned. The next blockbuster could drop at any moment, and you'll want to be here when it does.